Hey everyone, I am Maciek. Thanks for joining this live. Today we're going to talk about something very, very important. If you own property in Florida, thinking about buying in Florida, or if you're a real estate agent or real estate professional. And this is the Florida Bill 4D. Now I'll be looking at the screen quite a bit in this recording to get you the latest information and be accurate with it. But basically, this amends the Condo Act for Florida. So this is basically a building safety act for condos. So first of all, who does it affect? This bill, it was signed into law approaching a year ago. It was over half a year ago, and this affects condo owners. So if you are a condo owner, or if you're thinking about buying a condo, it's very important you understand this. And I know we're going to have disclosures about this, but it's better to really understand it than just sign a disclosure. Basically, it talks about condos that are 3 stories in height or higher, or any building that's 3 stories or higher. And I'm sure they're going to make some changes to this law before everything gets implemented. But right now is the time to act. So if you own a condo, you probably have had conversations in your monthly meetings about how exactly your condo complex is going to deal with this. And there's really two big parts that are affected when it comes to the condo. First of all, let's talk about the milestone structural inspection. This is the first part. So, we had the Surfside collapse on the East Coast, right? We had a building collapse, and that's what triggered this whole act to be done. This is Senate Bill 4-D, if you want to look it up. And basically, the first thing is that the milestone structural inspections are going to have to be conducted every 10 years on buildings that are 3 stories or higher. Now, there's a little bit more to it than that, because first of all, what is a milestone structural inspection? Well, it's a big structural inspection. That is, layman terms, but basically it has to be conducted by a licensed engineer or a licensed architect. So there has to be this inspection has to be done, and it has to meet certain criteria. Minimum criteria has to be met in order for this building to continue existing the way it is, with just everyone living there being happy and paying their fees. So, what is a milestone structural inspection? Well, it is. It's basically a structural inspection for the condo building, and the other requirement aside from the 3 stories or higher is that the building has to be 25 years old. Okay, so basically, I think about 2/3 of all condos in the state of Florida qualify under this. And just going to a different article here, there's over 1.5 million condo units in Florida, and that's 28,000 associations total, and 912,000 are affected by this. So almost 2/3, right? The ones that are 30 years or older are definitely affected, but this inspection is going to have to be done every 10 years. So our first wave of inspections is going to happen, in the next 2 years. So one of the things that they're talking about is that they have to be done before December 31st, 2024. So keep in mind that right now, we're January 17th, 2023. We have less than 2 full years, just a little bit less than 2 full years to do these inspections. And the first question you may ask is, well, who's paying for that inspection? And that is the condo association. So where's the money coming from? This is the first issue that I see with it, because condo complexes most likely have not set money aside for these structural inspections. That's the first problem. So there might be an increase in association fees in order to cover this inspection. And this will, depending on how many buildings and how big the building is, and the area and the availability of structural inspectors or architects, this is going to be pretty costly. I have no idea how much. I've never done one of these myself, and I'm not an architect or a licensed engineer to do it. So I don't know the exact cost, but I bet it's in the tens of thousands, if not more, dollars. So they have to be done before December 31st, 2024. So we have 2 full years to basically do these on all the condos. And I would highly recommend right now, if you have not been attending the meetings of your condo association, please attend the meetings. It is very important right now because they're going to be voting on this stuff and it's going to affect your pocketbook. Okay, that's the truth 100%. It's not going to affect it in a positive manner. It's going to cost you money. The probability of your condo building having a really low, I'm sorry, having a reserve fund set aside for this is very low. Okay, it just is. It's because this is a new law that came in and no one was planning for this. So the next thing is that um, this is for condos within 3 miles of the coastline. That's the next part. So this is specific to the milestone structural inspections. Now, anyone within 20, I'm sorry, within 3 miles of the coastline, the buildings must be, in the calendar year of December 21st, when they turn 25 years old, they're required to do it. So every year from now on, as buildings turn 25 years old and they're within 3 miles of the coastline, they're going to be required to do this. So some of the newer buildings are going to still be affected by this because they're going to start saving money and increasing the reserves for this inspection, right? Now, keep in mind that inspection is just a document. After that, there might be some little things that need to be updated and upgraded in order to meet the minimum requirements for these inspections. So, not only will the condo associations start saving for these structural inspections, but then they're going to need to address some issues. Okay. And that means save more money into reserves for that. Um, let's see what's next here. Um, okay, next is all the association costs are all the costs of the milestone structural inspection report is going to be an official record. Sorry, not cost, but this document is going to be an official record. So it's going to be available to all buyers and sellers and renters as well, so that everyone is in just clear about exactly what this is, what's going on, and what they can expect in the future. And the report must be maintained for 15 years. Well, those are details. Let's talk about now the next one, which is the structural integrity reserve study, and that's related to also the reserve funding requirements. Okay, so this is another hit to your pocketbook. What exactly is this? A SIRS, which is a structural integrity reserve study, is going to be a study of the association's reserve funds for future major repairs, and replacements of common areas. So let me just pause there for a second, because this is a study on the financials of things that need to be upgraded and updated once in a while, right? So we know that a typical shingle roof on a single family home in Sarasota County lasts about 17 and a half years. Well, if you take the cost of that roof and divide it by 17 years and then divide it by 12 months, you have a dollar amount that you need to start saving every single month in order to get your roof replaced at the end of that 17 years, assuming prices don't increase. But prices do increase. So what they're doing is they're going to allocate a cost to all of these items that need to be maintained. And what happened in the past is that associations would have, board meetings, and in the meetings, they vote. The voting Sometimes, not always, sometimes goes something like this. Hey, we have to repaint the exterior of the building and resurface the pool. Who votes to do this? It's going to be a increase on your association fees by 50%. And everybody says no. Let's just defer that. Let's just delay that a little bit further. Well, no longer is this the case. As of January 1st, 2025, everything will need to be fully funded in reserves. So there's a lot of associations that have been kicking the can down the road. And as they do that, they basically set themselves up for a problem. And they knew they were doing that. It's just that some associations don't have a lot of money. The owners don't have extra money to to pay for this, to replace the pool lining, to replace the roofs. And when they don't have the reserves in the association fees, they usually vote to either increase the association fees for a temporary time frame, or they do a special assessment. And the special assessment has a payment plan to it sometimes, not always, sometimes. I have heard of special assessments being, as high as $90,000. So because it's not just for roof and paint, right? And the pool. It's for the clubhouse. The high rises have balconies. It might be the balconies. It might be for the windows. It might be for the electrical components or the plumbing components. It really depends what the association is responsible for, because that does differ a little. Some condos are responsible for windows, some are not. But either way, if your association has been kicking the can down the road, well, they're not allowed to anymore. They're going to have to start backtracking and getting all the reserves up to the amount that the SIRS report, is going to recommend. So once again, this structural integrity reserve study is going to be a visual inspection now of the common areas by a licensed engineer or a licensed architect as well. So let's move a little further now. Every association that meets this criteria is going to have to get their first structural integrity study done by December 31st, 2024. The association will no longer have the option to kick the can down the road, to delay, and to vote on not raising the association fee in order to get the proper reserves. This is no longer an option. This has been an option since the beginning. No longer is that the case. So how will this affect some people? Well, if you're in a beachfront area where everything is more expensive, and I do mean everything, even contractors just charge more for beachfront properties than they would inland properties. There's going to be a lot of money and expenses that need to be brought into the reserves, and you may not have money for that. And maybe someone in your condo complex may not have the money for that. And even in the average priced ones, maybe there's not enough money. So what could happen? I'm not predicting now what's going to happen, but here's a couple scenarios that could play out. First of all, we could have a situation where the meetings continually discuss the exact dollar amount that they're anticipating prior to getting these studies done. And it may scare some people. And these people may just go and get out of their condo. This might be a second home for them. This might be a primary residence. It might be an investment property that's a rental. And that rental may no longer be a positive cash flowing asset. So they may sell. The second homeowners may say, you know what, let's go into a house instead. And they may sell. And then the homeowners themselves that live there may say, I'm on a limited budget. This is way beyond my budget. Or they just may disagree with it and they may want to sell and get out of it. So it's possible that we might see a big, quick spike in the next 6 months as this topic is discussed, and definitely in the next 23 months as this topic is really discussed by a lot of agents. That that people are going to start listing, and when there's more inventory, usually prices start coming down. First, the inventory spikes, then the prices start coming down as there's desperate sellers out there that just want to get out, right? So this, for an investor, that might seem like an opportunity, but you're going to be stuck with what's going on there, right? So with what the reserves are going to end up needing to be. So when it comes to my, anticipation of what I think is going to happen is I think we're going to have a lot more condo listings and the days on market for condos is going to go up. Therefore, if you have a condo and you don't want to even go through this, give me a call. Let's talk about it. My number's on the screen, 941-888 sold. Give me a call. Let's talk about the options, because one thing that is not an option is non-disclosure. All right? Take that in. You are not allowed to not tell the next buyers or the agent or whoever about what your condo has discussed. All of these meetings have minutes and they have certain points that have been addressed. These things have to be disclosed. And there is the condo rider. When you're selling a property, there's a condo rider that's required. And if it in there, there's a checkbox and it talks about has anything been discussed? And if you lie on that, you could face a lawsuit. So don't lie on it. Plus, it's against the law anyway. I believe it's a third-degree misdemeanor. So either way, don't lie. Just disclose everything, because that's the law in Florida. And you're going to have to disclose that there may be some reserves that are, met short, that need to be bumped up. So association fees may need to go up. Now, I've already talked to a few condo owners and some agents. Condo fees have started going up already. How much? I know of one. Just talked to someone yesterday. $600 to $1,000. That's right, $600 to $1,000. That is over 50% increase. So it is quite possible that your condo just hasn't gotten around to that, or they may be urging people to vote like, no, let's kick the can further down the road. And I'll bet you anything, if your condo association is doing that, that board of directors that really understands what's going on, those people are probably going to sell, and they're not going to stay as a board member, and then they're going to leave the problem to the next person. So please, whatever you take away from this live stream, just know that you should know what's going on in your community. Read the minutes, go to the meetings, please. And if you can't, then get the minutes after the fact. Call some other owners and talk to them and find out information. This is very, very important. If you don't disclose this to the next buyer, you might get sued. Probably, will, depending on the dollar amount, right? And there will be some condos not affected at all because they are so fiscally responsible that they've already planned this. They are fully funded for the roof, for the roads, for everything, right? But is your condo? That's the question. Now, I can't analyze your condo documents and figure out is it good or bad, whether you're a seller or whether you're a buyer. But it's very important to go through that aspect and find out what's actually going on with your association, right? So what else could happen? What else could happen here is that as interest rates go up, we already have less buyers. Condos sit on the market longer than they did just a few months back, and every month is getting worse and worse. And as we could have a mass flood of properties of condos, we might also have a demand in single family homes, because people love Sarasota, they love the area, and they may want to sell this to buy that, right? So we may have some better demand on single family homes. So if you're thinking about selling, give me a call, let me know, and we can chat about the options there. overall, this is a very important uh, thing here. Um, so if I'm not your realtor, get with your realtor if you have a condo or if you want to buy a condo. Um, but if you don't have a realtor, give me a call, 941-888-SOLD. Also, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, no matter where you're watching this, because I put out information like this, and I also get, do other videos on different communities and Q&A and so on. So just want to say thank you so much for watching. My name is Maciek. I'm with Keller Williams, and call me if you have any questions. Thanks.